record button here because I didn't last time. Um, just a quick mention that I don't know if we're going to get through everything I want to get through today. We're certainly going to try, but I have to be gone by 1 o'clock my time, noon your time, because I've got some stuff to do this afternoon. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I do.
All right.
Roger.
If you have a problem, let me know. I'm keeping my voice a little down because I've got a whole bunch of fluid in my left ear, and when this happens to me, my own voice can hurt. so, so I'm trying to keep my voice down. If you have trouble hearing me, let me know. Um, very quick recap. Uh, Last time we only played a couple hours, so the let's see the team took the lotus flowers over to Major Blythe Mander's house in the middle of the night. Met with met with the gardener, who took you into the center courtyard, unveiled the well, cast some sort of spell while Sing used an ostrich feather to make the spiral sign in the water, and it showed you guys a temple. Um, I believe it was the Temple of Hathor in Dendera, which is some 400 miles southwest of you. Um, in deciding on your options to get there, you guys created a whole lot more work for me, deciding that you wanted to take a Nile steamer, and which is epic. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, but it caused me to turn what should have been a 3 minute travel montage into basically a whole aside. So you guys can blame yourselves for this.
I love that.
um, and I just couldn't resist. Hopefully, we get through it all today. I don't know that we will. It might be a two-parter just based on time. But the next morning, you guys went back to the museum, the Egyptian museum, because Walter wanted to take another look at the statue. And when you got there, there was British military police there, as well as Cairo police and some people from the British embassy or consulate right nearby. And as it turns out, that very statue you went to look at was stolen. Um, uh, Walter with Khan did some investigating. Walter did his remote viewing thing and saw the woman who stole the statue. She actually seemed to teleport it out, which both Khan and Walter both know is a legitimate possibility. That there are people with that kind of power, but more importantly, it was clearly the woman that you believe is Mina Wolf, who is the head of Nachtwolfe. Um, so that's a pretty big. It's a pretty big concern. Walter, in pushing back in his remote viewing, um, a voice popped into his head and hissed at him to stop seeking him. Um, Walter experienced some mental burnout. In fact, not only was he drained, but I believe he took an injury. He took a mental injury, if that's.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Let's see. I make sure that I got this on here. So I don't see injury. What would that be? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
trauma, psychic burnout. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you currently have fatigue 2, which means that any mental roll you make, which is insight, reason, or will based, the complication range is 18 through 20 when you roll.
Mm.
More importantly, because of your trauma, um, the difficulty of any mental roll is also increased by 1. The fatigue can be gotten rid of just by rest. The trauma can only be the trauma has to be treated. So,
Oh,
which
no, Walter had invoked a truth, right? Last session. Does he get a fortune point for that at all, or is that
Oh, he gained a fortune point for immediate use on that roll.
gotcha? Okay.
Yeah, which is why the roll was so successful.
Oh, sure, sure,
Which is
sure.
probably what also led to anyway.
I blame Sharif.
So healing a psychic trauma requires another psychic, or what is
No, it's just considered a trauma is specifically a mental injury, so that requires you to be treated by someone with insight medicine with a psychiatry focus.
it? Oh, fun.
Now they don't have to have psychiatry, but that's just the focus that applies.
Okay. And I
Um,
can't treat myself, right?
you cannot treat yourself. That's correct. So
Okay. And the downfall of that is the it makes things harder, like the
correct.
yeah. Okay. It doesn't. Fortune points could take care of the
True statement.
yes.
And then there's something else to keep in mind that if you receive 3 injuries, you have to start avoiding death.
Okay.
So whether the injuries are mental or physical doesn't matter. A total of 3, you're asking for it. You're on your way.
1 second. I gotta take this call. I'll be right back.
Go ahead. Um, but it's give or take what it's somewhere in the morning in Cairo. You guys had just left the museum. You've got 2 appointments on track. One is you're supposed to be back to the major's house around noon to pick up the red ale, which the gardener's making the from the lotus flowers you brought him, and then you have a steamer to catch about 2 o'clock.
Yeah, it feels like we're cutting it a little close there, but
Yeah, so you don't have a whole lot of time. I mean, we can. I don't know if anyone has anything specific they want to do, or we can just move through what you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, I know Slim had been set to task in terms of like procuring the steamer and stuff. If he wants to go, pick up this brewski, that's fine by me too. Uh, unless anyone has concerns about Slim going alone, or if we're just hand
um,
waving it for the story and we show up at the boat,
Yeah,
that's fine.
we can do that. That's
Okay.
not a problem.
well, what I would like to do, um, well, Walter, Walter's in rough shape, right?
Yeah, he's a
Um,
little busted up.
yeah, he's not feeling that great after his brain freeze. Told him not to eat that ice cream so fast. Um, I would like to go with. I think that's a good idea. Henry would like to go with Slim to pick up the red ale, and I want to use it as an opportunity to observe. I'm trying to remember the distances involved, because we still have to go to. We got to get the red ale around noonish, right?
Right.
Right.
And then the boat trip. We we have to be there before 2 because it. 2, did you say?
Correct.
All right. Here's what I'm thinking, Slim. I think this is an opportunity. If we think we can get this done in time, I think this is an opportunity
Shit.
to see if anybody is following our movements. What's your observation, Slim?
Pretty good. It's let me pull that up. Insight observation would be a 12.
Yeah, that's pretty good. My my insight observation is not that good. Mine's an 11 with a focus. So I'd say can we maybe we can use this as an opportunity to see if anybody's following us and watching us.
It's a good idea.
That's
Um,
fine. So you both can make the roll. One of you would get two dice, and the other would get one. You guys decide who's going to be the primary and who's going to be the helper.
all right. So the question would be based on the distances from our hotel to. Uh, I think we take a cab, right? Would be best because of
Sure.
our time constraints. So we're going to take a cab over uh, to see the gardener and gardener. He's not just your ordinary gardener. Uh, I think we'll take the cab over to the gardener and Slim. Why don't you? Can I aid his observation?
Yeah, Slim can make the roll with two dice, and you can make the roll with one.
Okay.
All right. I'd say let's do that. Slim, what you're looking for, obviously, since we're taking a cab, you're looking for anybody who might be tailing us or watching what we're doing. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So I make the roll with one die.
Let's see here.
All right. And so, uh, Hachi, remind me what does sight focus mean? Well, you got two successes, so it doesn't even matter if I roll, frankly.
No, but it'll add momentum. Of course, I don't know that momentum's going to be much useful. These scenes are going to flip pretty quickly, so.
All right. So what does the sight focus relate to when it says sight? Just it relates to watching, so I can use the focus.
Sure.
All right.
I would allow sight or instincts focus on this. Okay, so you guys have a total of three successes, garnering two momentum. No, you guys seem to be in the clear.
So Alhazred is like screaming through the streets and and that sort of thing. So we would definitely know if somebody was following his mad dash.
No doubt.
Okay. So we what a hand wave, picking up the ale and making it back.
Yeah. I'll simply say this: the old man says, remember, you must drink it as soon as Ra enters the Duat.
So is it just one jug or is it like multiple?
No, he gives a small earthenware jar that's sealed, one for each of all four of you.
Okay. And so Slim's got like four of these earthenware jars, like in his, he's got his arms wrapped around him, and he looks over at Baker, and he says, "You catch that?
Got it.
All right. Say, you got an extra one of these for the road?"
He kind of tips his head sideways a little bit and says, "Why would the road want a red ale?"
He shakes his head and he says, "You take care of yourself now, Ellie."
He says, "And you too, my young American friend." He turns and starts to fade off into the garden.
Where's the rest of the gang? You guys at the hotel or are you at the boat?
Hotel. We're gonna. Well, I thought they were at the hotel, but see, it's only noon, so we got a couple hours. We should be able to get back to the hotel, get our
Okay.
stuff, and all of us go to the boat.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Does Con, or obviously Walter? You don't have time to do any resting. Do you two want to try to attempt to do anything in the meantime, or are we just gonna move on to the boat?
I think I'm just gonna move on to the boat.
All right, very good. So the as you guys are pulling it all together at the hotel, the concierge or desk guy, whatever he is, comes up to Slim and says, "Sir, your tickets have arrived," and he hands over four tickets for you guys for a boat called the HMS Hathor's Dream, and it tells you where to which dock to meet it at and that type of thing.
Well, I appreciate that, amigo. And he's got like tickets in one hand and the jars in the other, and he's like shimmying up to the room. Uh, and are we in the hotel room, or did we decide we're traveling now?
I mean, you guys can have a quick moment in the hotel room before you go to the boat. That's fine.
Okay. So Slim does this thing where he's trying to like open the door with like four, bottles of whatever and tickets in his hand, and he's like shimmying around, scooting the door closed with his butt. And he walks in, and I imagine Walter is like laying down somewhere like usual.
Oh yeah.
Blood leaking out of his ear.
Yep. Hanging out.
And he says, "Well, shit, Walter, I can't leave you anywhere. You look like you've been chewed up, spit out, and stepped on."
Walter just groans.
And so he puts stuff down on the table, and he says, "All right, I got four tickets here to the HMS Hathor's Dream, and it's real easy. Like, we just take a left out of here, head straight down, and there's a yellow sign. We need to take a left."
Trying to get him excited. Boy, yellow sign. Have you seen the yellow sign?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. We take a left at the yellow sign for the docks.
Oh boy, you're a
And
bad man.
And he hands him a ticket, and he says, "Just make yourself a drink. It's gonna be a long boat ride down there, I think."
I could use the rest. Let's go see this yellow sign and then take our trip.
All
All
right,
right. He grabs the duffel bag.
all right.
All right.
So you
We
guys, you guys head off to go to your steamboat, and the yellow sign to which Slim's referring is just a large wooden hand painted yellow sign that basically it's a street sign. That's all it is.
I figured as much.
Um, you-
Walter, I have a question. How does you imagine your dog will do its business on board the boat?
Puppy pads.
He's very well trained. She'll just hang her butt off the side.
yeah,
Through the magic of hand waving.
that's right.
Poop deck.
All right, just wondered.
Did you just say poop deck?
That's right.
What it used to be used for.
Oh man.
Classic.
So you guys come up on your appointed spot, and there's people filtering towards this Nile steamer. It's one of the larger ones you've seen. It's probably about 200 feet long. It's got a beam of 30 40 feet. The and it's clearly got three decks. There's a lower deck, then there's a ramp that goes from the dock up to the main deck where people are filtering in, and then there's a deck above that, which has a walled off area, but is largely open to the air with some awnings and whatnot. The main deck and the lower deck are completely enclosed, though it has windows. And I am going to now, guys. I'm going to move you to a map, and please let me apologize, to quote the great Doc Brown. I apologize for the crudeness of this model. I didn't have time to put it to scale and paint it.
Ugh. Oh, look at that.
Now, of course, wow, that's a little loud. There we go. And of course, the map's not entirely perfect because one of these steamers would be a little more rectangular, a little less pointed in the front, but I had to make do with the resources I had. Um, I am going to, if it's alright by you guys, I'm just going to pull one token over.
I love this music. Nice job.
Yes, wonderful.
Perfect.
So if you guys zoom in on the main deck, you will see that I put Henry Baker's token just for space. You guys are entering the purser's office, which has a stairwell that goes up and down, as well as one main door. Inside this office, you see your various travelers that are moving through. There is a beautiful young woman sitting behind the purser's desk. You guys see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Here.
Also,
She's nice looking.
yeah, yeah, she's
like her.
she's blonde. She's very pretty. She is speaking to an older couple in front of you, and she has she's clearly American. She has a completely nondescript Middle American accent. Um, Off to one, she's sitting behind the desk collecting tickets and handing information over. Off to the left are two other men, one of whom I have a picture of. The other I do not, unfortunately. The One man is British, and the other is probably Egyptian. You would guess. The British man is it seems to be the captain of the ship based on his uniform.
I
Um,
love how the AI does not understand pipes.
yeah, yeah,
I love it. I love it.
yeah. I
It's just
had
like
to.
a stick that shoots out of his face.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I just didn't have time to keep clicking over and over and over for it to finally come up with a decent picture.
I'm not sure that it would really. I guess eventually, by luck, it probably would.
Correct. Either that or you'd get one without a pipe. One of the two. I never told it to put in a pipe. It just chose to do that.
Well, Nile steamer captains all have pipes.
Yeah, exactly right. Who
yeah.
wouldn't have a pipe?
We should all
The
have them.
the captain is speaking to another woman, a passenger. Um, Middle-aged, brown hair, dressed to the nines. She has a substantial amount of luggage with her, including about a half dozen cages with birds in them.
Wow.
And she's speaking with the captain there. It seems to be mostly small talk, but uh, he's saying it's such a pleasure to have you on board, Lady Green. Your VIP cabin is ready for you. Uh,
Do you have a British accent?
she does have a British accent, very very upper crust,
Posh.
if you will.
Port
Um,
out and starboard home.
the That's right. The and he directs his hand over to the Egyptian man next to you, and he says, Basim will arrange getting all of your luggage delivered to your cabin. And she says, thank you, Captain. He says, of course, you are welcome at my table every evening on the observation deck. Um, a couple of porters show up, a couple of crew members show up and lead and start picking up all of her stuff. And she tells them to be careful, with the animals, obviously. And the first mate, or Basim, leads her off. You don't know he's the first mate, but now you know he's the first mate. Doesn't really matter. The next the couple in front of you moves up, and the captain greets them, and the young lady looks at the four of you and says, Gentlemen?
Slim is looking around nervously, and he's only briefly able to complete eye contact with this woman. And he's like sort of like fiddling with his ticket and looking around at the group. And he says, well, howdy, miss. And he steps up and he says, we got 4 tickets here.
She, as you step up with your nervousness and everything, she gets a smile for a moment, just kind of just the edges of her mouth, and then it dissipates, and she says, "Oh, a fellow American, how nice."
Well, yeah, it's nice to see one of my own out here as well.
She says, "Oh, you're from somewhere south."
That's right, miss. And he says, can I ask where you're from?
She says, "Oh, someplace in nowhere, Indiana."
Well, I won't hold that against you. And he says, friends call me Slim.
She says, "Well, it's nice to be friends, Slim." She says, "I'm the ship's purser. My name is Clara Whitmore. And I not only do I collect tickets, I'm here to provide any additional assistance that you may need." And she hands over a small pamphlet. She says, "In there you will find the layout of the ship. The observation deck is, of course, on the upper deck. So is the lounge, and a small reading room. Crew cabins are here on the main deck. There's really not much need for you to go below unless you need to check on anything you have in storage." But and she says, "And here are your 4 of you. I have 2 cabins. Here are your cabin designations. You'll find them out the door and down the hall."
So Slim is like looking around, and he can't believe that he is being made to do the talking here. And he's like, well, Miss Whitmore, I sure do appreciate it.
Does she have
Hope
the
to see you around.
designations written? Does she have the designations written on slips of paper or something? Do we have a key to the cabin?
Yes. Yeah, she would hand over
Henry
keys
steps
as well.
up. Henry steps up and he gives a side glance to Slim, and he looks at the young lady and says, "Well, if you two are finished mending fences from the Civil War, bringing the North and South together, I'd like to have the key to my cabin, please." And holds out his hand to her.
She looks over at you, and for a moment you catch maybe a hint of steel in her eyes, and then she smiles, "Of course," and she hands it over.
Thank you.
She says, "You're very welcome." The lounge stays open till 2 in the morning. The dining room is open all hours between 7 in the morning and 9 p.m.
Well, thank you. I know where I'll find Slim when I'm looking for him. Until 2 in the morning, at least.
She says, "Well, I guess that means I know where I'll find him as well."
Oh,
Oh, man.
Oh, Jesus. All right, and Slim is like, nervous footwork here, and tips his hat. So when they leave the office, he like roughly elbows Baker, and he says, "Now, what are you doing in there?" I'm accounted for, sir.
Slim, I thought that people from Texas had a sunny tan complexion instead of the bright red that I notice in your face.
Well, I will be tan when Lupita tans my hide. And
You dog.
and he like loosens his collar, trying to get me killed.
Well,
awesome.
You ever cross a Latina?
just
So
keep
you
in
have-
mind. Just keep in mind to bank that goodwill in case it's necessary at some point.
Okay. And
We all have our roles to play.
and
Okay.
shuffles off.
What does she think about the dog? What can you guys remind me what the dog's name is? I keep saying dog.
Luca,
Luca.
Luca. Yeah, she's
Dog. This isn't a John Wayne movie.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We're
Luca
dead.
is. I'm in my get up to look like I have a seeing eye dog, of course. So I don't attract attention with the dog, and yeah, she's just sitting next to me, panting, and I'm watching this exchange with interest and humor.
So the passenger cabins, I didn't just, and to give you an idea about the map, guys, all the walls and stuff I had to shade blue because they just kind of blended in with the brown of the deck. Um, uh, the whole passenger cabin section, that whole area of the main deck is passenger cabins. It's a warren of narrow aisles, narrow hallways, and cabins. The cabins are they're two passengers to a cabin, and there's 40 cabins total. And the cabins
Four
are,
zero.
yes,
Wow. This is a cattle car.
yeah, no, it's a very very large steamer. Um, and there's a wide range of passengers that you guys see as you're heading towards your cabins. There's obviously tourists from all over Europe and probably a few from America as well. I there's not much in the way of native Egyptians. It's pretty much a tourism thing because let's be honest about it. Most people that live here that have a need to go south probably are not going to choose a 4-day steamboat ride. Um, so it's a pretty busy place. Uh, just so we're aware, what's the cabin assignment going to be? Since you're two to a cabin, who's
That's
bunking
funny.
in with who?
Uh,
Well,
you guys got anything? Yes?
I think Walter would probably want to be in one of the quieter rooms. We could try to recover. Who snores less?
Amazing. Well, Slim is always up late and fucking around.
So not Walter and Slim is what we're saying.
I think
Well,
Slim actually likes the dog, but
I mean, it's fine if he's Slim. If you're okay coming in quietly at night.
Actually, I was just thinking Khan has medicine too, so perhaps he will bunk with Walter to keep an eye on him.
Okay.
Check on him, make sure he's not bleeding out of his nose or ears at any point.
Okay.
Well, that makes
Good
that
plan.
easy then. That
Yeah,
puts
probably
Slim
a
and
good idea.
Baker in the same room. Perfect. Your two most combat-oriented characters in the same place. What could go wrong?
if
Well,
vampires
since you put it that
materialize
way,
in here-
you put it that way, now I'm like thinking I made the mistake.
No, no. Put it to you this way: no matter what your solutions were, I was going to say something that was going to make you rethink it because I'm just such a kind and benevolent dungeon master. Um, all right. So you guys settle into your rooms. You guys probably don't have a lot of luggage. It's probably just a suitcase apiece plus Slim's bag or something like that. Do you guys have anything that you guys send down to storage, or is it all in your rooms?
I don't think we have anything other than Slim's big bag.
Yeah.
Is the duffel bag, is that storable in these cabins, or is that
Yeah,
something I'm
yeah,
gonna have to
there'd be enough room. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's they're closet sized or slightly more than that because they each have a single bed and just enough room to move around. Um, but yeah, there's room for that, sure.
Now, are you partial to top bunk or bottom bunk, sir?
It makes no difference to me.
Well, he takes bottom bunk because he wants to stay close to his guns, and he's got he like spends a comical amount of time trying to jam this duffel bag underneath the bottom. But he does as long as The 45 is concealable. I think he's going to try to wear that.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely got the hidden quality. So, all right. So what what's the plan, gentlemen? The boat shoves off and starts steaming down the Nile. It's weather is, it's obviously hot, but there's a beautiful breeze that comes in off the river that kind of pushes the heat away, and it's not much different than a breezy summer day back home for someone like Slim.
Oh, he loves his desert weather. What he does not love is boats, which I think is going to become increasingly apparent as this guy from the desert goes on this river cruise.
Can,
I have a question.
Sure.
Well, a lot of people say that you steam down the Nile. Meaning
You're technically
south,
steaming up.
but you're steaming up because you're going upriver.
Correct. You are technically steaming upriver. That's correct.
But a lot of people say down the Nile.
Because you're going
whatever.
south. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't care.
Isn't it
Anyway,
one of
that's
only
our-
two rivers that
That's our geocentric,
goes the
our
wrong way?
European geocentric view of the world.
Correct.
can Khan try to start healing me, or is that outside his?
Yeah. If that's how you guys want to spend your afternoon, him sitting down, having you lay on a couch and talk about your childhood. Yeah.
Awesome.
God.
No offense to the therapist in the
Yeah,
room.
well,
That's about the limit of my psychology understanding.
Tell me again about this kid who wears the yellow. Is he in the room with us now?
Henry, Henry's going to take a walk out on the deck, surreptitiously. Well, for all intents and purposes, he's like anyone else. He's watching the scenery go by and looking at the river.
So you're going up to the upper deck to the promenade?
I am, but what I'm going to do is go up to the promenade first, but I'm going to make it a point to slowly wander the entire boat and get a layout of the boat.
Okay.
And, I don't know. I guess it's a ship. It's pretty big if it has 40 cabins. You know, you put boats on ships. So I'll of the steamer, I'll walk around the steamer, and I'm going to just eyeball what kind of people are on this steamer, from passengers to crew.
Very good.
Just because he's Henry, and
That's kind of his gig.
he has to case the joint.
Khan, you want to make a roll? You're going to be doing insight medicine. You don't have a psychiatry focus, do you?
No, I don't have any medicine.
Okay.
Just straight up EMT.
Yep. So make an insight medicine roll for Walter. Difficulty is 1.
I have broken you, Walter. Oh, no. Boy.
You have definitely come to the conclusion that whatever is going on with Walter is something very deep seated. It's and it may be beyond. Well, it is. It's simply beyond your ability to help.
Is there some magical intervention, a protection ritual, or
Well,
some
you
form of obfuscation that would prevent the King in Yellow from seeing him or finding him? Or something?
there might be. It's beyond your knowledge. At this time.
I do not accept this. I must bend my will to this problem.
Well, you do.
Appreciated, my friend.
You do. Don't you have a healing spell?
I have a healing spell, the Blessings of Lucius.
What is it? I'm trying to remember. Okay, so it removes
Remove stress equal
stress.
to the spellcaster's power from all allies within close range. For
Does it
2
have an ability to remove an injury? It does. It takes 2 momentum.
yeah,
Um,
single injury, physical or mental.
which, by the way, Walter, your stress can go back to normal. You can remove your stress damage, but you still have the injury. So that's up to you if you wanted to.
I do wish to,
Okay.
indeed.
Awesome.
Close the door, Walter. This will hurt a great
this
deal.
this will hurt. Oh Jesus!
Put this leather wallet in your mouth.
And this collar around. Oh wait,
And
wrong
this
game.
collar around your neck. And tie your hands to the bedpost. Now, don't look at me. Do not look at me. Regardless of whatever noises I may make.
All right. Well,
Sounds like it's going to be fun.
We are, after all, on the Cleveland steamer.
that's right.
The greatest ship in the Egyptian Navy.
Oh boy. So you have no momentum. Um, what's the difficulty of this
Oh,
spell?
perhaps I should make an observation check then.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be a problem because we need momentum, right?
I mean, I have fortune. We got two. I don't know if that can turn into something.
Well, that would be the possibility. You could. I mean, well, number one, you could wait to try this later, obviously. Number two, you could blow a fortune point, which would give you 2 automatic successes, and then you roll your other dice, and that could get you the momentum you need. It's a little bit of a gamble, obviously.
It almost seems better if we wait, Jim, because then we'll have momentum.
Okay.
But
I'm
it's
not gonna
totally
be
up
with
to you.
But that's
You want
okay.
to? I would have to burn the fortune point. How many people? I have 3. I guess I could do it.
Well, that doesn't guarantee us a success either, though, right?
No, all it's going to do is guarantee that the spell will succeed. He still needs to generate 2 momentum in order to heal your injury.
Oh, I see.
Generation of 2 is where I hesitate. Generation
Right.
of 1, I'd be like, yeah, there's a good
Yeah.
chance.
Well, maybe we can build up some momentum here while we're on the trip.
Yeah, let's go make some observation rolls.
I want to
Go
look
ahead and
at
go observe
everything.
that pretty girl in the office.
All right, so Henry Baker is casing the joint. And what's Slim up to?
Slim is up on the top deck. He is immediately going to the bar. 3 p.m.
Of course he is.
And I don't know. I just get the sense that there's like this really froofy cocktail menu up there, and he gets something that's something with a little fruit or something in it, and I don't know. He's just sort of mingling with people up in the bar.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that in a second.
Okay.
The I'll give you guys a roll here, and then we can come back to Con and Walter for a minute. Since Henry's doing his thing, Henry, make insight observation with a sight.
With a sight. Gotcha. All right.
Man, that insight roll was just terrible. That was, you rolled a 17 to 20, Sharif. That was bad.
Don't pick on him. He
Ah.
had nothing to do with it.
It's gonna be one of those days.
Hey, maybe because it was the first roll of the game. You know, the rest will be the ones that really count.
We did pretty well last time.
Yeah, you guys did. You really didn't flub up anything. All right, so you got a bonus momentum there. So Henry, there's as you're doing your thing, you're from what you're seeing of passengers, mostly you've got the type of people that you saw before. There's no sign of Lady Green. You assume she's probably in her VIP cabin. most of the passengers, it seems, after they got their stuff dumped in their cabins, just immediately went upstairs to the observation deck. It's rather crowded up there, as they're looking around and enjoying the weather and the sights of Cairo as you guys steam by. There's 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 waiters coming out of the lounge slash bar area that are taking orders for drinks. Um, you do
I'll have one of those.
you do note that, and what would you have, sir?
A whiskey.
Yeah, I figured.
Neat. Neat.
Yeah, you're definitely a whiskey neat guy. Um, you do note that, you know, it the 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 steamer does have rowboats and lifeboats. But as you look around, you know, you realize there's 80 people on board just in terms of passengers, not even counting ship's crew, which you don't know how many crew there is. You've probably noted at least a dozen different people right off the cuff, plus whoever works down below. And, you know, you have the general feeling that there's not enough lifeboats, not enough by half.
What is this, Titanic?
Amazing.
Okay.
Just a river. How wide can it be?
And I mean, come on. I mean, just if you fall in the water, just swim to shore. It's not like they have crocodiles or hippos or
Or
anything
some-
like that.
Right.
Foggy. It's not even
It's-
cold.
In a lot of places, you could probably walk to shore.
That's true. Nile steamers have, in my research, I discovered that Nile steamers, as a general rule, didn't have a draft more than about 6 feet, because the Nile is very, very
Silky.
shallow at parts. And they had to specifically stay as far away from the shores as possible because in some places only 3 feet deep. Anyway, enough of that.
Well, look at the color of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing but silt flowing down that thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Continue.
Kyle, up in the bar.
Yeah.
The lounge slash bar is not a particularly busy place right now. There's a few patrons inside. The room is the place is quite large. It's 3, 4, 5, 6. It's, you know, about half the width of the upper deck and probably 35 feet long. Shares a wall with a room that your map says is the reading room, whatever the hell a reading room is. But you know, you've got this haze of smoke that wafts around the room, and there's a couple ceiling fans above that kind of swirl it around. There's a small stage in the corner for, you assume that there's a drum kit up there. You're assuming some sort of band, maybe live musical play in the evenings. As you get your drink from the bar, a man approaches you. In
Dun-dun-dun.
in his late 40s, you would guess. He comes up next to you at the bar and he says, "Well, I'll be damned if it isn't another Southerner."
And Slim like turns suddenly, and he's a little pale and sweaty in a way that we haven't seen before. And he's got like a mojito and a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and he says, "Well, I'll be," and he like extends a hand and he says, "Valentine, whom am I talking?"
He says, "My name's Joe Webb," and he takes your hand.
Joe.
My friends call me Arizona Joe.
Arizona. and he shakes his hand, you know, and he says, "Now you're speaking my language, friend."
He
I'm from West Texas myself. Don't know if you can tell.
he goes, yeah. It sounded a little bit like it. That's why I came over this way. I heard you order that drink. He goes, "You feeling all right?"
oh, and he sort of like steadies himself and he says, "Now, Joe, I'm at home on a horse, but I don't do too well on boats. It's only a matter of time before I get as sick as a dog passing peach pits. I'm and, and he like takes a drag off his cigarette, and he's like, I'm just trying to get a few of these in my system, settle my stomach.
He laughs and he slaps you hard on the back. He goes, no, he goes, don't worry about it, Slim. You'll get used to it. He goes, you'll get used to it. Now, of course, I've been traveling for 20 years now, so I probably got a bit more used to it a long time ago. But he goes, you'll get there. Don't worry about it. It's
He's
not
traveled
like
the wide oceans all across Arizona many times.
he says it's not like a north crossing on the Atlantic with those big waves and those storms that come and the boat goes from left to right and side to side and it dips down forward and he goes no the Nile's a pretty easy thing, you'll be all right.
Some little wide-eyed, a little bead of sweat drips down. Well, Joe, I appreciate your confidence. Now, how's a man like yourself come out to Egypt?
Well, that's funny, I was going to ask you the same thing. He goes, well, my family, we I don't like to brag too much, but I'm just going to say what it is. We struck it rich years ago out at Tombstone in the silver mines, and he goes, I'm just in a situation where I get to travel the world and go where I want.
Well, that sounds mighty fine. I'm here on work actually. Well, you wouldn't know it, and he's quivering a little bit. He says, I'm a bit of a hired hand, helping out with a little archaeological dig.
He goes, oh, really? He goes, well,
Yeah.
that's right, fascinating.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I've never been out here before, but it seems just like home. So when I'm off the boat, I kind of like it out here. I do miss home though.
He goes, yeah, the sand's a little bit different type, but desert's a desert, and you gotta love that dry air.
So you stopping downriver, or you headed out somewhere from there?
Yeah, no, I'm on a little bit of a, shall we say, an archaeological pilgrimage of my own. I've come to find that I really enjoy historic places, and I hear about this place near where we're headed called Dendera, and I'd like to take a look at some of the stuff down there.
Oh, no kidding, no kidding. Yeah, that's yeah, we're headed that way ourselves. And then he like pushes forward an empty mojito glass, and he says, "Hey, listen, Jack, can I get another one of these?" And he says, "What's that?" "Pulaski. It's under Pulaski." And and he turns back to Arizona Joe, and he says, "So you're interested in Dendera? Is that right?"
He says, yeah, there's some real interesting things down there. I understand there's some hieroglyphics or whatever the heck they're called that shows something that looks kind of like light bulbs, and I'd like to see that.
Oh, I don't know anything about light bulbs. I just haul stuff and drive when I'm able to, anyway. And he like looks back in the direction of the group, and then back at him, and he says, "What's it like out there? Is this a big city we're going to, or I've never been down here."
No, I ain't been there myself either, but no, there's I guess where we're stopping is kind of a small town, and Dendera's a few miles away on horseback, or I guess camelback is what it's going to be. I don't know much about them monsters, but it's so yeah, we're gonna be on this boat for a few days, but yeah.
Well, interesting. and he says, "Well, listen, Joe, uh, you want to get a game of cards or something going?" And he's like, I'm your man. I got time to kill."
He says, yeah, I think it might take you up on that later on this evening. I'm gonna look around a little bit and meet some of the other passengers. But he holds his hand out. But it was a real pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, likewise, likewise. Pleasure's all mine. And he shakes his hand, takes his second mojito, and he like steadies himself against the bar. And it's not even like there's big waves on the river, but
Right.
he's just there's something unsettling about the shift of the boat. And he sits back down.
All right. Arizona Joe wanders off. Uh, probably grabs a bourbon and from the bartender and heads outside out onto the promenade. The promenade and the observation deck are mostly open. It has awnings to prevent bad weather or what have you. But well, I gave you guys a chance. You got one momentum if you want to try and make that roll, Con.
Okay.
It's up to you. You don't have to. I don't mean to.
Well, no, we have. How much do we have?
You have one momentum.
Walter, what do you think? Well, we need two, so.
Yeah, you need two successes just for the roll to succeed, and then you need two momentum to.
I think we have to wait somewhere.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, wait a little bit more, and then because we could use the fortune to get those two successes. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So after your failed psychiatry session, you two have anything you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe I'll take Luca for a walk around the deck. If that's not, forbidden.
Okay.
I'll continue to use the ruse of, the glasses and the walking stick just to get some share up top. And maybe while up top, we can have Luca just do a observation check for anything fishy up there, maybe. Something that our sensors might not be able to pick up.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that. Sure. Why
You
not?
know, a lot of dogs do that when they come into a new environment.
Yeah, sniff around.
Yeah. Smell and taste. Study insight, observation, smell and taste.
Yeah.
Let's do my pop the food here. Cool. There we go. So 2 dice.
Yep.
Difficulty 1, right?
Yeah. Oh,
There we go.
shit. Well, I gotta.
I just ruined your plan.
Love it.
Yeah, a little bit. So as you come up top, the way I see it, you're probably coming through. This stairwell right over here. So you're coming up on the promenade. Henry's, I don't know, he's over here somewhere. Who knows? But as you're coming up the stairs and coming out and coming down the promenade, a guy in a long coat and a bushy mustache in his late 40s. He comes out of the lounge area with a double of bourbon in his hand. He almost runs right into you. And he goes, "Oh, sorry, sir. Excuse me. I didn't see you. Oh, I guess you didn't see me neither." And he just turns and starts to head this way down the promenade. Luca kind of sniffs at him as he turns around, and her ears are straight up facing forward, and she kind of lets loose a low growl.
Ooh. Didn't like that comment, I guess.
He pops his head over his shoulder and kind of looks back, for a moment at the dog, so he probably heard the growl,
Uh-huh.
and uh, and then just shrugs and continues on.
Okay. I stay silent and make a note of what he looks like. Is he that accent he had? Is that anything I could identify?
Well, it's definitely Southern American, not South American, but American, comma Southern.
Okay. Okay. That's not the same guy that Slim was talking.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was, yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah,
He's clearly a
you
spy.
don't
but
know
I
it yet,
wasn't,
but
He's
you don't know it yet, but you will in a little while.
he's clearly a spy. Come on now. Um, Slim or Khan, what are you up to?
Well, I guess I'm just following Walter. I mean, he's not in danger of like keeling over, right? I don't have to
No,
worry
no,
about
no,
that.
no, no, no.
All right, perhaps I'll check out the reading room. That seems like something the inspector would be interested in.
So the ooh, look at that. I can.
Perhaps they have a book on the mysteries of eldritch horror.
I have screwed up your icon. There we go.
Oh,
I
I
got you.
mentioned eldritch horror, and I went into the fourth dimension.
That's
temporarily.
right. Could be worse. Could have been the 12th dimension
I could have been
with
stuck there.
Buckaroo Banzai. Um,
This looks like a detachment from Buckaroo Banzai's group of guys. The
the,
race car driver, the Zen master,
that's right.
the rocket scientist, and the fencing champion all step into a bar. Buckaroo, get out of here!
That's right. The so the reading room is it's not a big room. It's probably 15 foot in each dimension. It's got a a love seat and a few kind of wingback chairs, all very pretty and well made, and hand carved cherry wood and well cushioned. And there's a couple of potted plants and quite a number of bookcases. As you look around, it seems
How very British.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There was a sign on the door also that said no smoking and no food or drinks allowed. Inside is are the books. As you scan the shelves, it's really nothing. It's really nothing that impressive. It seems to be mostly 19th century British literature. But there's a number of books on Egypt and Egypt's history and mythology and that type of thing. Nothing really too deep.
Is there anything about our destination?
That's a really good question. Make a Reason Academia with a history focus, or you can do Inside Observation Site, whichever's better for you.
I'm going with insight observation, even though I don't have sight.
Okay, that's fine. All right. And a complication. I'll take it.
That's my second one I think I rolled today.
It is, but you are up to 4 momentum.
I'm feeling rather good about this spell, Walter.
Excellent. I need it. My head's pounding.
I note that the blind guy doesn't go into the reading room.
Yeah, right. Be a little flub, right?
There is in fact a book that is on a number of the sites nearby, including Dendera. As you flip through it, it's got some black and white photographs of number of things. You recognize the temple that you guys saw in the well vision, as well as pictures of the hieroglyphs of the Dendera lights and some of the statues, stuff like that. It doesn't really have much beyond what you kind of already knew.
Right, then I guess I will leave.
All right.
There's not much here, right?
When you close the book, Slim's in the doorway, smoking a cigarette with a mojito.
Well, You seem to have adjusted to life on the water quite well.
No, I wouldn't say that. But what are you doing here in this here library? This is about as much fun as chopping wood.
Yes, your assessment is spot on, young man. Let's get out of here. Even I am bored.
Where are we headed, Inspector? And he takes a drag from the cigarette.
I must help Walter. Have you seen him?
No. And he says, last I seen the man, he was horizontal. You know, he's always napping. What's with that?
His brain is exhausted.
Well, be honest, my brain's exhausted sometimes too. But you don't see me moping around. And he's like, oh, and like pivots, and like, and then he says, you like boats?
I do not.
Well, that makes two of us. Try to settle my stomach with a few of these. He swishes the ice in his drink, and he says, if you want one, I opened a tab under Walter's name.
That's kind of you, young Valentine. But I refrain from imbibing alcohol. Such poisons do not benefit the mind.
Well, maybe not, but what's life without a little poison?
Yeah, that's a good one. You know what? Slim, make a brawn resilience roll
Okay.
with fortitude if you have it.
Sure. All right, let me pull up this sheet. Brawn, resilience. Actually, this might be a pretty good one for me. No focus.
Yeah, look at that. All right. So, put you guys at 5 momentum. Letting you guys momentum battery here a little bit. But yeah, you're slowly getting your I don't want to say sea legs, your river legs out from or underneath you.
Okay.
You're certainly not. You're feeling probably a little bit of that settling effects of the alcohol, but not really a buzz. Slim drinks a fair amount, I think. So this he's definitely not getting inebriated in any way. But
Right.
I would say you're settling in.
Khan will put a gentle hand on his shoulder. Just remember, young Slim, in our line of work, danger comes suddenly. We are always on duty.
And he looks down at the drink, and he looks up, and he says, well, Inspector, this is tradecraft. And he winks, and he's like, all right, let's go find
Khan will give him the eyebrow.
Black.
You know, the eyebrow.
All right.
This is what you get, Slim.
You guys are going to go find Pilecki. Where's Pilecki exactly on the? Do you have control? Do you guys have control over your own icons?
Oh, I think so.
Move Pilecki to wherever he's at.
Okay, hold on. Gotta find him.
I moved my guy. Hi. Hi. I'm here. Hi.
If there are any like lounge chairs, maybe.
Oh, yeah, sure,
area,
absolutely.
and just kind of sitting there, taking in the air with ukulele by his feet.
All right. All right. As you guys come together, I guess Slim, you're with them as well, right?
That's right.
So you're right there on that kind of aft part of the promenade. It's just a large open area that stretches the width of the ship, and of course there is a wall there because the VIP cabin is is fully enclosed. The door to the VIP cabin opens, and Captain Blackwell comes out, and he says again. As he's leaving, he turns towards the cabin and says, Lady Green, again, do not hesitate to let anyone know if you need anything. It's a real pleasure to have you on board. And he closes the door. He turns and sees you all standing there, and he nods and says, "Gentlemen," and he starts to head off towards this stairwell. All right, what's up, gentlemen?
Uh, if you'll notice, Walter has made his way back to Clara.
Yeah, yeah. She's in the purser's office. Looks like she's working on a ledger, and she sees you walk in, and she says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Baker, isn't it?"
Correct. You can call me Henry. I want to apologize if I was a bit short with you before. It's been quite a trip, and it was hot, and I was tired, so I apologize. I
She
was wondering.
she smiles and chuckles and says, "It's no problem, really."
Says I was just wondering. I'm kind of a fan of things mechanical, and I was wondering if sometime on the trip you could arrange with the engine room crew to let me take a look at their fine engines on this craft. It would be very interesting for me.
That is absolutely doable, Mr. Baker. In fact, we have a tour of the engine room. In fact, of the entire ship at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay, sign me up. Where do we meet?
She says, "Perfect. We will start at the observation deck."
Outstanding. 9 o'clock. Observation deck. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Is there anything else I can do to make your stay more pleasurable?
Uh, just grace us with your presence. Makes it the trip entirely pleasurable.
She
Thank you.
she lifts one corner of her mouth and she says, "Well, thank you so much for the compliment, Mr. Baker. I didn't realize you'd be quite the charmer."
Uh, it's nice of you to say, but I'm not much of a charmer.
She says, "Oh, give yourself
Turn
more
your head
credit."
right off.
You have a good day. 9 o'clock tomorrow. Thank you.
She says, "You as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Baker."
By the way, an aside, you guys, I've personally been on a couple cruises,
Yeah.
and I specifically asked to tour the engine rooms, and in both cruises, they said I was the very first person who ever asked to look at the engines.
Really? That's
fun.
surprising to me.
Of course, you're probably on the no-fly list now, but
Yeah. Tell me exactly where's the plug you pull to sink this?
It's just that little rubber stopper over there. All right. What else is Baker up to? As he's milling around the passenger cabins, or is he just going back to his room? Or
Well, um, I'm assuming that when he walked around the gangways to the lower deck are all marked crew only.
correct?
All right. So I'm going to meander back up to the upper deck and look for my dudes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you're all together, gentlemen.
so I think Slim's just making small talk with Galecki and seeing if he's okay. Probably far too chatty for what Walter is wanting.
A little bit, holding head in hand and trying to be polite.
Well, gentlemen, we're quite a group.
What time of day is it?
Late afternoon. Sun's heading
Yeah,
towards the
It's time
horizon.
to fix your wound. Time of day. What do you think?
Please,
let's
get
get
Well, how
better
did
with
that? Henry looks at Con and said, "Well, how did it work out down there for you two?"
think we're about to give it a chance here. Are you ready, Walter?
Oh, so,
All right, guys.
So,
clock back in 30 seconds.
so
I
we
am
make. Say that again. I couldn't hear.
Walter's ready.
Yeah, so we're about to go do it. So go down to the cabin, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, unless you want to cast a magic spell right on deck,
I
that's.
really don't. We could do it in the reading room, I suppose.
No, cabin.
Okay.
All right. Well, you have 5 momentum. You know you need to spend 2 to heal the injury. So the question is, do you want to spend any others for additional dice?
Yes. How
Alright.
can I improve my chances here?
Buying 1 additional die will cost you 1 momentum, or you can buy 2 additional dice for a total
I will
of 3.
buy 2 additional dice.
All right. That leaves you 2
So
momentum.
that's- No, I have to use that to remove the injury. So we'll use all the momentum.
Right.
Does that make sense? Right? My math is correct?
Yes, that is your correct math. Yep.
2 extra dice for a total of 4.
Yep.
And when it asks me what focus,
Focus for you on spellcasting always applies.
always yes, okay. Difficulty 2. Yes, there it goes.
Yeah, boy.
Wow, look at that! Holy crap!
Yeah, boy.
All right, so you generate 2 extra
Holy
momentum,
mackerel.
which you then spend to heal the wound that Walter received.
So we have 2 momentum in the bank.
Yep. And so Walter, on your character sheet, delete your injury.
Okay.
I'm curious. Con, I'm going to look at your spell sheet for a second because I'm curious about one thing.
How about the fatigue?
Nah, that's what I'm looking on. Give me 1 second. Okay, no, that still stays. That can only be cured by rest.
Okay.
So, Con, you need to roll your
Only
cost.
so much Ushas will do for you. Then.
Yeah.
I need to what now?
Roll your cost.
Dun dun dun.
Forgot how to do that. It's
Just
damage dice
roll
at the
damage
top?
dice equal to the cost of the spell. Yep.
At the top, and so the cost is 4. So 4 dice. This always scares me so much.
All right, so you
Ooh.
took 3 damage, but there's no effects. Do you have courage?
I do.
What's your
I
courage?
have courage of 7.
You have courage of 7?
I am a wizard.
Yeah,
I am a wizard, young Frodo.
so
I arrive precisely when I intend to, and I have a 7 courage.
that's right. So yeah, that has no effect on you whatsoever.
Shrug it off.
Yeah.
Shrug it off. Thank you, Ushas. I slap Walter on the ass. Go get him. Get back in the game. Get back in the game.
Slim and Baker up to anything while they're and yet again, Slim is not around for when the magic happens.
That's exactly right.
Literally when the magic happens.
Never fails.
So, I think Slim's forgetting himself a little bit here. I really think that he sees this as like R&R, and he kind of forgets that it's a mission. And he's just sort of like kicking back. I think he just, is sort of leisuring about while everyone else is, I don't know, doing spy stuff.
All right. All
Well,
right.
Henry is up on deck with Slim, and he takes a look at him and says, "Well, that shade of green on your face is improving. How do you feel?"
I'm feeling a mite bit better. I had about 3 of these, and he like jingles the ice in his glass. He says that straightened me right out. I figure if I stay on top of it over these 4 days, I should be right as rain.
Well, maybe you'll acclimate on the trip long before you drink the ship's store bourbon dry.
Well, I sure as hell ain't gonna be a Navy man anytime soon, but yeah, I think I could get used to it.
As
By
you
the
guys,
way, an aside,
yeah.
when this is out of game, when Slim ordered the mojito, I thought, did mojitos exist in the 1930s? So I
Yeah.
did a Google, and they said mojitos have existed since the 1500s.
Holy crap.
Holy smokes!
Well, it's
Wow.
it's just rum based, isn't it?
Doesn't
Yeah.
it have limes? How long has the West had limes? Probably a while. Now that I think about it,
a
name
long
dropping.
time.
A long time.
Probably a
Yeah.
really long time.
Well, I did do a Google of 1930s cocktails, so
Oh, okay. Good for
Oh.
you.
yeah.
Smart.
As you guys are talking, the door to the VIP cabin opens up, and Lady Green appears. She pulls the door and locks it behind her. As she does that, you hear a bird squawk, and she turns and she nods at the two of you and says, "Excuse me, gentlemen." And she goes to move past you guys and disappears into the reading room.
Now, what's her deal?
I would guess she's some kind of English hoi polloi by her title, lady, but I don't understand the birds. Oh well.
I bet you could get into that cabin.
I bet I could.
Hint, hint.
He smirks and he says, "You like birds?"
Not particularly, no, unless they're roasted just the right way. served with some served with some fava beans
Oh boy, a nice
and a nice
Chianti.
Chianti. Baker gives a look at Slim and
Yeah.
simply smiles and says, "Let's just enjoy our trip, shall we?"
I'm one step ahead of you. He leans back in the lounge chair.
As the afternoon comes to a close and the sun drops down into the horizon, there some music pops up. You can hear it coming out of the lounge, and the captain holds a dinner at his table. Lady Green is there, and a few other invited members. What do you guys do in the evening? What's everybody up to?
Well, I'd like to eat. Is that in the dining room?
Yep.
I expect the purser or somebody's going to announce when dinner is served, right?
Oh
Or
yeah.
do we have to go in shifts? I don't know how big this dining room is compared to the number of people on board.
I mean, it's pretty big.
Okay.
It's 70 feet long. It takes up basically
Right.
a third of the ship aft.
All right. Well, I figure once they announce dinner, it would be a good time to join up with our compatriots and compare notes while we eat.
Okay, so I think if we are having dinner together, at some point in this meal, Slim is going to mention Arizona Joe, but just sort of like in passing, about how this guy was real interested in them, or real interested in Slim's journey to Dendera or whatever. But I don't think Slim makes the connection.
Okay.
You guys all meet up in the dining
I
room.
have a question.
Yeah.
This is 1939. This is a steamer. Gentlemen are expected to dress for dinner.
In this particular instance, I would say only at the captain's table.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's a pretty leisurely affair.
Which still generally means jacket and tie, just not
Sure.
formal.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, Okay, so um, all right, so that's very interesting. Um, Henry doesn't have much to say one way or the other, except that uh, Slim, I'll ask you: are all Southerners so outgoing and ready to make friends on a short notice?
Well, in my experience, we're a mite bit friendlier than you Yanks. And he says, haven't you ever heard of Southern hospitality?
Uh, yes. Never witnessed it, but heard it.
Never, never witnessed it. And he like lightly slaps you on the arm. Sir, I have been nothing but a gentleman.
As
You're right. I thanks for the clarification. I wouldn't have known that that was Southern hospitality versus just you being you. Good to know.
as you guys are talking and eating, and the dining room's fairly full. I mean, again, there's 80 passengers on board, and they're not all here to be sure. Uh, the um, the doors open, and in comes Arizona Joe escorting Clara, excuse me. Clara would be if she's British, but she's American, so she's Clara. Um,
That
and
slippery son of a bitch.
and she pats his hand and says something to him in his ear, and he just nods at her, and he beelines straight for your table. Now your table's full, but he beelines straight for your table, and he says, uh, well there, Slim. Good to see you again. I see your table's full with. Seems like you got some friends here, and he puts his hand on Walter's shoulder, and he goes, oh, is this blind feller with you?
He is, he is. Uh,
Well,
and
and he goes, I apologize again to you, Mister. I didn't mean to bump into you like that.
It's quite all right. Quite all right.
You kidding me? That happens all the time.
He laughs. He goes, yeah, I bet it does. I bet it does. He goes, I'm gonna go over to an empty spot here and get me something to eat. But it's good to see you.
Likewise. Maybe we'll get that card game going later.
He goes, that sounds good. I'll meet you upstairs. Look, he pulls out a pocket watch out of his vest. He looks at it and he goes, maybe right around 8 o'clock. What you think?
That sounds fine to me.
He goes,
I'll be there, sir.
He goes, very good, very good. And he steps off. Clara. I keep calling her the British version. I've seen too much Doctor Who. Clara is walking around the dining room, just talking to the different patrons on board, seeming to just smile and check on them. Eventually, she makes her way over to your table, and she comes up, kind of behind between Slim and Baker, and she puts a hand on each of your shoulders. Wearing a stunning yellow dress, and she lays a hand on each of your shoulders and says, "Well, if it isn't my two favorite Americans."
Slim takes a hard swallow, and he looks at Singh in the eyes, and then like turns back. But he's trying. He doesn't know where to look, and he's like, Miss Whitmore," and it would be customary to stand, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, they like stand and greet her, and he says, "Good evening," and you look mighty fine today in that dress.
She says, "Why, thank you," and she says, "Please don't be nervous and just call me Clara."
Oh, I'm not nervous, miss. I'm just a little unaccustomed to nautical navigation, if you understand my meaning.
She says, I understand. I understand. Wasn't much of it in Indiana either.
And he says, look, well, I don't know if I introduced you to my friends here. And he looks over and at Sing, and Sing, are you in uniform, or like what's the?
Oh, he had to step away. He
did he?
said he had
Okay.
an important phone call.
Okay, I don't know if everyone's using cover names or whatever. Obviously, Slim plays fast and loose with that.
Yeah.
But he'll introduce, the inspector.
I would have to believe Singh is there in full Inspector General uniform. That seems
Yeah.
to be his thing.
Yeah, he'll introduce the rest of the party, and then.
Oh, Henry,
But
well, Henry also stood when she put her hand on her shoulders and made her statement. He stood as well. And Khan's not here, so can't really say much. So anyway, Slim, you introduce Khan and Walter again, although she should have seen our names on the guest list. Or on the
Oh, yeah.
passenger.
Yeah.
yeah, well, Slim is an idiot.
Oh, there's that.
Walter's good also. However, he's still feigning not having sight, and so he's looking in one direction, but his eyes are shifted toward the yellow of the dress, and he's just tense all over, not really knowing what to do with himself.
That is awesome.
He's a little triggered after his recent trauma, and things whispering in his head. So he's becoming visibly nervous, and will excuse himself to go rest in the room.
She says, well, it's... Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, she says it's a real pleasure to make the rest of your acquaintances. And remember, if you need anything, you need only but ask.
And
There's a twinkle in her eye and probably a very slight lift of the left side of her mouth.
Henry says, thank you. You've been extremely helpful. I'm looking forward to the tour tomorrow, especially the engine room. I love looking at complicated mechanical things. You said you hail from Indiana. I myself are from Cincinnati, Ohio. So, where in Indiana?
We're practically neighbors. Fort Wayne.
All right, out of game.
Yeah.
Mr. Hachiman, is that a coincidence?
Yes. I literally just pulled it out of the sky.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if I'd say practically neighbors, but
Well, and as wide as this world is, I would say that my statement's fairly accurate. Wouldn't you? After all, we're only thousands of miles away from home.
you're right. It seems a small world after all.
She's laying on the charm pretty thick.
I can feel it. Not just between my ears. Well, again, thank you for everything you do for everyone. I hope to see you on the observation deck tomorrow.
She says, I'll be there. I look forward to it, Mr. Baker.
And Slim turns to, tip his hat. And he's like, likewise, I look forward to getting down under and taking a look at your engine room. I mean, he's like, the tour.
she says of course.
And have a good day now, miss. And another bead of sweat drops down as he looks freshly seasick.
She starts to move on and starts to visit other tables around the dining room.
Slim looks at the empty chair and he's like, now what is that man's problem? You walk away at a time like this. You think he's going to eat that?
I suppose you could help yourself, but let's cut Walter. Henry sits back down. Let's cut Walter some slack. He's been through a lot the last couple of days.
Right.
Walter, where did you walk off to?
After getting freaked out by the color yellow yet again,
Yeah.
Wander back down to the room. I still have to get rid of these two fatigue,
Yeah.
so I'm just going to go down in the room and try to do that.
So you're just gonna call it a night?
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. So make a oh shit, I gotta remember what kind of roll this is. I know it's willpower, resilience,
Okay.
with fortitude as a focus if you have it.
Okay. So I got.
And you guys have 2 momentum. If you wanted to buy an extra die, you have enough to do that.
Yeah. So I've got. I have 2 in resilience, but no focuses. So I'll bump it up to 1 more die.
Okay,
So that would be 3 dice.
very good.
Relevant skill. Or as some people say, resilience.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Have to start hearing that bullshit again. Okay.
Oh wow,
And-
look at you.
Well, I didn't do anything yet.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was Clara. I'm sorry, wrong roll.
Focus, submit, and difficulty 1. Check.
Yep.
Oh, the complication.
Well, the good news is, with 2 successes, you're not going to generate any momentum, but you're going to get rid of both of your fatigue, so you can drop that down to 0.
Okay.
The bad news is the complication, and that's okay. I'm just going to take a hold of that.
You should put that in your hat.
Oh yeah. I have plans. All right, so let's do this, guys. It is 11:42 my time. I've had a lot of coffee. Let's take a quick 5-minute.
Okay.
All right, be right back.
Good.
idea, doing a steamer down the Nile. It's a lot of fun.
Got a
Oh,
little role playing jaunt like that. That's cool.
yeah.
Kyle, I bought these really neat, interesting paintbrushes. I wonder if you've ever bought these before. They're for nail art.
Really?
Yeah, it's so weird, dude. I've never seen this before. Like $7 on Amazon.
Huh.
It said they were nail art brushes, and I thought, oh, that's not going to be. And then I looked, and I'm like, actually, looks like they could be really sharp, thin detail brushes. Like the picture makes them look just right. And so I bought them. They're not expensive. You get 5 for 7 or 50 or something. And they're brushes, but they're like pens. They're
Huh.
they come with like a cap that's about half as long as the total. It's like, so it's a long cap. You pull it off, and then most of that is just empty space. There's like at the halfway point, there's like a tip on it, like a Sharpie, like a like a 1 millimeter Sharpie. How it has like a metal tip, and then you get to the felt.
Right.
These are kind of like that. They have like a metal construction like that, like a pen, and you hold them more like a pen, and then they just have like a thin brush. I have no idea how long they're going to last, but the thinnest one is, it says, I think 5 millimeters in length, not in width. So it has like a 5 millimeter uh, length of hair, because they're like liners. So some of these are like, you could use them for lettering. They have like a 20 millimeter length, but width, I mean, very, very thin, like 000 kind of.
Really?
000,
Okay.
Really,
You
really
gotta
thin.
send me a picture of these or a link or something. That's awesome.
Yeah, let me go on to Amazon. Can I drop that in here?
Yeah, you can drop a link in chat.
Yeah, it's like junk, but I don't do the brush princess thing with oils anymore, since like the last time I had a $30 brush
Sure.
was when I was doing acrylics many years ago. I just don't need them for oils. So I take chances on a lot of shit that you might not otherwise. Let's see what this piece of shit works like.
Yeah, well, occasionally Mr. Bezos offers something of value.
Yeah, I sort of enjoy being able to make shitty brushes work. It's like a fun mini game for me. But this is very surprising. I did not expect this. Okay, here we go. I found it. Let's see if I can just drop it.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
that is wild.
Yeah. $6.99, so $7.
Huh.
All right, I'm just gonna add that to cart.
The liner, the 25 millimeter one. I mean, that's totally for, like, you see lettering brushes like that a lot. I mean, that's like your typical liner. But when you get down to the smallest three, I mean, that's pretty nice. I mean, they're all
Yeah.
usable, but
All my daughters use these kind of brushes to paint their nails. Like,
that's what they're for. Yeah, nail
right.
art pens.
Like Paige did a little ghost face on 2 of her nails Halloween, and painted pumpkins, and they spend like 6 hours doing her nails with those hobbies.
Well, you don't want to even know how much time I put in my hobbies, so.
Well, I have a pretty good idea. Oh, wait till your little one starts getting into all the fancy, pretty stuff.
Oh, yeah. She's a good mix. She's a good mix.
All right.
She's already, well, I'll tell you the stories later.
All right. All right. So the evening goes on. Pilecki went and crashed for the night, so that leaves the three of you guys to do whatever it is you'd like to do. Um, Arizona Joe, he heads out and he claps you on the shoulder as he goes, Slim, and says, "I'll see you upstairs in a little bit." And he
Count
heads
on it.
off.
That man is so
Later,
nice.
later, spy.
Everyone's so friendly here.
Especially the spies.
Come on now.
It just made me laugh when Slim was like, "Yeah, oh, and that guy's a spy."
That was my dialogue. That's Slim's.
Well, it was hilarious. I trust his gut.
Okay, Slim is going to go play cards with this guy eventually. He turns towards Singh and he says, "Now, Inspector, do they have Texas Hold'em in Southeast Asia?"
Hold what?
That's what I thought.
Do all Texans participate?
That's funny.
Pretty much. I can teach you a thing or two.
Very well. Let me learn this. Let me learn this ritual.
Amazing. Baker, you play? They have that in Ohio?
I don't generally play cards unless I already know the outcome.
Well, that's no fun.
That is such a Henry
Fun,
Baker thing to
fun
say.
That is
has nothing
definitely,
to do with it.
That's what Henry Baker would really say if he was real.
Totally.
I don't gamble. That's for unprofessionals.
But you help yourself. Spend some time with this person. He seems to be
Say it.
sticking out a bit.
Say it.
I dare say unnatural.
Rhymes with.
Now, come on now.
You got something in your eye? There's something in your eye?
These Yanks are all the same. What's the matter with a little community, a little friendliness? And he shakes his head. All right, come on, Sling. Sing. He's like, let's go play some cards.
He said a few mojitos too many. Come on, Sling. Con on, Sling.
All right. After they go, Henry's intention is to enter the lounge after the game has started
Okay.
and get another whiskey, and then he's going to take up a spot where he can watch the game, but more to the point, eyeball Arizona Joe.
All right.
And he's just going to hang and drink his whiskey because that's what people do on a boat trip.
That's
I am honestly scared for Arizona Joe now that Henry has noticed him. You know what I mean? There's going to be some well-fed crocodiles in a few minutes.
Oh, I love it. It's like this James Bond shit.
so. Sing and Slim walk into the lounge before Henry does. Obviously, Henry follows behind, and the band is up on the stage playing some rather American style music for the time.
Swing.
Yeah, yeah.
Sweet.
There's the lounge is filling up. As you guys walk in, I'd like you to make an insight observation check with hearing as the focus. One of you can roll 2 die, and the other can help with 1.
Well, as I am the
let's see
sober
this.
one.
Inside observation, I've got a 12, but you are probably beating me on that.
I do beat you. I have 15.
Holy shit!
Oh yeah. All right. So we'll help out. You do your thing.
Good.
All
This is why you keep your characters sober, guys.
telling you, this is tradecraft.
Well, one success from Slim. And two from Sing. All right.
And a little momentum too.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
All right. So, as you guys walk in, uh, Arizona Joe is sitting off at a table with one other man. He's shuffling up a deck of cards, and he's there's a boat waitstaff standing there talking to him. You hear Arizona Joe as you guys walk in. He says, "Now, wait a minute. You done told me you're from Dendera. There's talk of this sun disk treasure down there, and you're saying you don't know nothing about it?" And the guy just kind of looks at him blankly and shakes his head. And then Arizona Joe looks up and sees you guys walk in. He goes, "Hey there, Slim. You brought a friend. Come on over. Let's do this."
Yes, sir. And he shakes his hand and he says, "This here's my friend Khan Singh. We're as thick as dude on Dixie."
Indeed, we are. Good evening. Good evening.
He stands up and offers his hand. He goes, "Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Singh.
Aye, the pleasure's all mine, sir. Your name?
My name is Joe Webb. My friends call me Arizona Joe. Pleasure to meet you."
Arizona Joe. That's near Texas, isn't it, young Slim?
Well, close enough. A little drier.
He says, "Well, you might say Texas close to Arizona."
Do you know these tortillas that Slim often speaks of?
He
They
goes,
have them in Arizona. And what was the other one? Latinas. Do they have those where you come from?
he gets a big smile under his bushy mustache. He goes, "That they do, sir. That they do."
Perhaps one day I shall see one for myself.
He goes, "You come right along up to Tombstone, Arizona, and I'll introduce you to all the tortillas and Latinas that you can handle."
Delightful. What a delight you are, sir.
Full smiling ear to ear. See, I told you he's great.
He
Yeah,
said,
it's not bad for a... Is that a sty in your eye?
Arizona Joe, he hands the deck over to Slim, and he goes, "Well, tell you what, Slim, why don't you shuffle it a couple times, and why don't you call what game we play first?"
So, I'm actually not much of a card player myself, so I think he's just going to, do some Texas Hold'em, I guess. And I'm picking that card game because it has the word Texas in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's he's going to be trying to teach Sing the rules as we go along here.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. All right, very good. So here's the way we're gonna handle this, gentlemen. We're going to handle this as we're going to handle this as a roll, as you probably guessed. We are going to have you each roll. I'll let you choose. I'm going to let you choose between which mental stat you want to roll: insight, reason, or will.
Okay.
Okay. And my reasoning behind this, and if you guys disagree, we'll come up with this, because gambling's not really handled in the rules. But my thought process behind it is that all three of those mental stats have a place in gambling, especially in card playing. Because in willpower, you're trying to convince somebody else that you're not bluffing, or that you've got this hand, or maybe convince them that you don't. Whereas reason, you're doing the math on it, trying to figure out what the odds of your hand being a winning hand, versus insight, you're trying to figure out whether or not the other person has a good hand. So you have your choice of mental stat, and we will roll it as persuasion, um, or observation. I'll give you either. The focus would be for instincts on observation or deceive on persuasion.
I have both. I think Khan might actually be good at cards.
So it's observation or persuasion?
Observation or persuasion.
Okay. I'm kind of thinking I want Slim to be bad. Yeah, you know what? He's had a couple of drinks. He's got a Mai Tai next to him. And yeah, we're gonna roll Will, which is his worst.
Okay.
And yeah, we're gonna do Will persuasion. Amazing.
Holy shit on a shingle.
Why didn't you tell me of this delightful pastime before, Valentine?
Now, come on now. And
Beginner's luck,
Yeah.
literally.
look
Yeah.
at the draw.
Yeah, Arizona goes, and Joe looks at you and goes, "Well, look at that here. You certainly ain't from Texas, but you know about this Texas Hold'em game real well."
What are you saying? I seem to have won?
Yeah, that you did, sir. You take the hand.
What did I win?
He kind of points and he goes, "The pot." And he points at whatever money you guys are throwing in the middle.
Those merrily colored tokens. What are they used for, Slim? What does
Well,
one
now
use
you
these-
exchange these with the house for some money at the end of the night.
Why would they do that?
And he says, well, you know, it's a friendly wager.
A wager? You mean to say we're gambling? Wait, this is for real money, Slim?
Well, of course. What? Then
You've led me
It's not
into a
fun otherwise.
commission of a venal sin, young man.
oh, come on now. We're having a bit of fun.
All these months I've spoken to you of my purity and the sanctity of virtue and the grace of the Lord's good blessings, and here I am gambling away the evening like some squalid thug in a backstreet alley.
And you're doing quite a good job of it too, Mr. Singh.
Well, in that case, perhaps it wouldn't be a terrible suggestion to try a second hand. Just for science, as it were. Let's see,
Science.
Is it a mere coincidence, or perhaps there's something more to this?
Now, this is an honorable game, sir, in our neck of the woods.
You don't say. A game for gentlemen.
A game for gentlemen. Only the most prestigious gentlemen throw
Yeah.
these cards.
I wouldn't suggest doing too much of it. After all, gambling is a sin. Just one more round. What say you?
Well, I'm in. I gotta have a chance to win my money back.
Very good. Come,
All right.
Arizona Joe. Place your merrily colored tokens on the table again. How many merrily colored
That's
tokens
great.
does it take, Valentine?
And
How many
puts
did
them
we?
out.
How many did I place last time?
And Slim like kind of coaches him through, and
We shall
he's-
double it
well,
this time, right?
These ones are worth. Well, yeah. And
Why
he,
not?
Get his own card.
How many tokens do I have here? 12, 13, 17. All right, let's put in 12.
Oh, I like the sound of this.
Arizona Joe goes, "Well, looks like we got a game here, gentlemen."
Indeed.
All right, so all right, so make another roll.
All right.
And yep.
I love it.
Oh, Slim, you rolled 8 dice.
Wait a second.
That
wait a
can't
second.
be right.
No, that's wrong. I hit down on the
Something didn't work there.
There's a lot of alcohol here.
I was trying to use the repeat function on roll 20 or whatever.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, it didn't quite work. I still failed. But... All right, here we go. Oh shit!
Oh, And Khan had a complication.
I did.
Um,
Showed my hand.
oh,
Oh, Arizona Joe.
yeah, Arizona Joe. Yeah, he lets you guys drive that pot up, and when it's all said and done, he puts down his
Oh
two
wow.
cards, and it's a pair of aces, and he just takes it away from you guys. He goes, well, beginner's luck didn't last but so long. He holds up his hand and he calls for a whiskey. Um, Baker,
This did not end in a pleasing way, Slim.
make an
Well, now you
inside
don't win every
observation
time.
roll, would you? Actually, Baker, let me think about this for a second. Um, Baker, I'll let you do inside observation with sight, or I'll let you do reason. Shit. I guess I'd have to say reason academia with history.
No, it's going to be inside observation because my
All right.
reason and my academia is 0. So,
You have 4 momentum.
um, how many to get an extra die?
1 for 1 die. 3 for 2.
I'll just use 1.
Okay.
So I'll get an extra die. Use 1 momentum.
Now what's he doing? Is he reason what?
Because he made a point of saying he was watching the
sure,
game
sure.
and Arizona Joe specifically. Bless you, whoever's dying.
Yeah. Wow.
Bless you.
Yeah. So I'm.
Sorry, guys. I don't know where that came from.
I'm guessing
Dusty.
from your sinuses.
Ugh, yeah. Sorry.
Hold on. I screwed up. Give me a break. Hold on. There we go.
Holy shit on a shingle. Okay.
I love this so much.
His hand signal is wrong, Baker. Americans, especially Southerners, have everybody's got everything. Everybody's got body language and colloquialisms, not just in speech, but like I said, in body language. And the way he holds his hand up and calls for the waiter to come by, um, it, it's wrong. It does not fit. Something about it. He's almost uncomfortable about it, as if he's not used to doing it. It's something about it comes off as distinctly European to you.
And I would know.
You would know. The waiter comes over and he says, "Let me get here another one of them double bourbons, and you know what? Since I just cleaned out all my friends here, just bring one of whatever they want to."
Yeah, I suppose I'll take another one of these. And he jingles like a tiki glass. With his mai tai. There's like an umbrella in there.
What is the Henry looks at the guy that was already seated at the table. Let's call him the other guy.
The other guy.
He's going to watch him during these exchanges as well. Did he participate in the hand, or did he?
He did.
fold?
He did.
Okay.
Well, he didn't take it to the end. He folded out.
All right.
He saw the stakes going high and between Arizona Joe and Khan and said, "Nope, I'm out of this bullshit."
Amazing.
So as the drinks come by, and I'm sure Khan does not partake, or does he?
No, Khan has his limits.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Um, so
I have a
as
question.
oh, what's that?
Con, when you say drink, that's alcohol, obviously, but do you also have an aversion to caffeine? Is coffee out for Singh? Is he just a tea man,
I believe he's
a
only.
tea or water kind of guy?
That's right.
Okay, I was just trying to remember.
We must
Man,
purify the way.
doesn't even know the joy of a good soda pop.
Nope.
Uh,
Casting spells is
Well, and tea's a good idea anyway
mental
because you
and
boil
physical
the water
purity.
before you use it.
Oh yeah.
Don't get
So-
Con started on the requirements of purity for accurate spellcasting. He will lay some thaumaturgy down on you guys if you're not careful.
as the drinks flow here, and as the rounds of poker continue, whether Sing's in it or not, I'm going to invoke my truth outlaw mindset,
Oh.
and he's going to cheat.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Sir,
Very nice.
that gains you that gains you a fortune point on the next roll, specifically to be used on that roll. So that's 2 successes in addition to your other dice.
Is
All
there
right.
any chance at all that Con can perceive this cheating?
He's welcome to try.
How would I?
That's a really interesting question. Let me think about
That would
that
be-
for a moment.
And what's the difficulty given that Khan is not an experienced gambler?
Yeah, the only reason I would say that I don't want to spoil it, like
Yeah.
just for role playing sake, just
Totally.
curious if Khan perceived something's up. Maybe because Slim is drunk. Maybe because he knows Slim. He knows that Slim. Maybe Slim has said something in the past about never reaching down into the cuff of your pants when you're playing poker, or you get shot, and then reach down into the cuff of his.
All right, so let's do this.
Gary Pearl clutching.
Let's
sudden.
start with the roll for the hand itself. So just like we've been doing, Slim, you roll your 2 normal dice, but you've got 2 successes on top of that.
All right. Can I change the dice I've been using? I mean, meaning the skill.
Yeah.
And you said it was persuasion or observation.
Persuasion or observation.
All right. So
We're all
and
rolling too.
Yep.
All the players.
Yep.
the way the fortune point works, it just adds.
Yeah, it just adds 2 successes. It gives you a bonus die that's an automatic 1. Wow, 3 successes for Khan.
I have 3 number 3s. What does that mean?
All right, so 3 successes from Khan, 3 successes from Slim, only 2 successes from Arizona Joe.
Wah, wah. Very good.
Now, here becomes the next thing. Slim, what do you think? What do you think in terms of cheating?
I think I like the idea of like there's a card in his boot or something,
Okay.
and or like under the table, something that he's told Sing about. You know,
Who's
It's like
dealing?
his signature move.
So let's call it agility stealth.
Okay.
Um, yeah, let's call it agility stealth.
It's not gonna be good.
I don't know if you've got any. I don't know if you've got any
Focuses.
focuses in stealth.
I do not.
Okay, so it doesn't matter anyway. So agility stealth, you got 5 momentum. If you want to buy any extra dice.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy an extra die.
All right, so that puts you at 4 momentum. So roll 3 dice,
Right.
and this is going to be contested.
Nice.
All right, now, Con, if you want to see if you notice it, make an inside observation um, with sight as a focus.
Okay, I don't have that one, so that's
Okay. Okay. All right. So
good. I hear the sound. I hear the sound of jet engines.
that's right. So Slim,
Yeah.
you cheat, and you cheat rather successfully. Um, okay, one more roll, Slim. I need you to make an insight observation
Okay.
with sight as a focus, if you have it.
Science observation.
Yeah, you can go ahead, Baker. You can make the roll too.
Okay.
So, as you do it, Khan, you do not. Unfortunately, you do not see Slim cheat. However, Baker does.
Oh, Baker does.
Baker notices it, and also one thing you do notice, even though you're not aware of Slim cheating, you notice that Arizona Joe's pupils dilate for just a moment, and then go back to normal. And as Slim cheats, Slim and you guys turn your hands over. Khan, you lose. Slim and Arizona Joe end up with the exact same hand.
Oh shit! And I was thinking that this was something like really ridiculous, like a fucking like a Full House or something.
Yeah, you both come up with three of a kind jacks, and there's only one jack on the table.
Look at that. There's two Jack of Hearts.
The other guy,
How often does that happen, Sid?
the other guy at the table stands up and goes, "Well, someone here's cheating. I don't know who it is, but oh man, I just went into Arizona Joe voice, didn't I?" Anyway, he stands up and said, "Someone here is cheating. I don't know who it is, but I'm going to take my wager back, and I am out. Good night, gentlemen." And he just storms away from the table.
Oh, he's hanging the wrong horse thief. That ain't right. The nerve of you, sir. And he, and then like as the guy like walks away, Slim tucks the third card in his back in his boot, and he says, "Well," he looks at Singh. He says, "Well, yeah, that was me." What are the odds?
I have no idea what just happened.
Arizona
Oh, man.
Arizona Joe's like, "Well, that was real interesting. I guess that about ends the game then. Good night, Slim."
He tips his hat. Good night, Joe. And he actually like flicks him a chip and he says, "For that drink, appreciate it."
And he says, "Oh, thank you so much. You're welcome." And he he goes out of the lounge.
I suppose this is what you mean when you say egg on the face?
Now listen, I'm just having a bit of fun. I was told to keep an eye on that guy, and I was doing it.
Well, it's easily rectified. You must simply make atonement for your evil ways.
Oh, and how does one atone for my evil ways?
Prayer, young Slim. There's only one way. And a good deed wouldn't hurt either.
Well, I was praying for a royal flush, but didn't come through. And he says, "I do like that Joe fella, though."
I thought he was quite nice as well for a spy.
Oh, come on now, see?
Don't
He's a nice gentleman. But
We must always, always keep up our guard, young Slim. Trade is a dangerous one. We might be being observed currently.
and,
I notice you've been doing a fair amount of observing yourself. Namely, the purser.
Oh, I resent the implication, sir. I am accounted for.
Well, the night is young.
Oh, Henry steps over and sits down in Joe's seat.
Awesome.
Greetings, Henry.
Well, Slim, that didn't seem to go the way you planned.
Why is everyone giving me a hard time?
You see, you were being observed.
Well, I knew he was watching me. It's different. Now, Mr. Baker, the fine inspector here thinks that there's some funny business afoot. This Mr. Arizona Joe.
Well, Arizona Joe is not who he seems.
Oh, you too.
I know. He talks a good game, but I picked up on some mannerisms that would make him very European. Therefore, this is a masquerade. We need to watch out for Arizona Joe. The
You're
fact
telling
that
me.
Do we need to establish counter-espionage, or should we simply pretend that we're not aware of this?
Are you telling me that Arizona Joe ain't from the South?
he might be from the South, but not southern United States. But I think he's more. It's more likely that his origin is more Central European.
Slim leans in. You mean like Berlin Joe?
Well, likely, but not necessarily, but very likely. What we need to watch for now is, one, does he know anything about what we've been doing? Two, he might just be he sounds a bit like a treasure hunter. Maybe he's just a treasure hunter, but I find that unlikely. I don't believe in coincidences. So we have to keep an eye on him.
All right. Well, I'll keep
After this episode with the card game, I'm not sure it's. Let me put it this way. Normally, after this episode with the card game, he made a normal, or I should say, a typical person would shy away from you. But if he is truly a spy, then he wouldn't let this step in the way of trying to cozy up. So let's see what his activities are in the future as we make our way upriver.
All right.
So,
All right, so can we go out of game for a second?
Yeah.
yeah.
There was lots of rolling, lots of crap going down. Hachiman, can you give me a quick narrative, blow by blow, this interaction? Because I started to get lost in who was rolling for what.
So they
So forget the math. Let's just go do a narrative.
right. They played 3 hands of Texas Hold'em, of which Singh won the first one.
Big, yeah.
Big, of which Arizona Joe won the second one. Also big. And then the third hand is when Slim decided to cheat, and you spotted him cheating. And you're pretty sure Arizona Joe spotted him cheating as well. The other guy didn't notice it at all, except obviously when the hands were identical, and that was mathematically impossible.
Right.
So at that
Did you
point,
say they each had trip jacks?
yeah, yeah, with only one on the table, so they each had 2 jacks in their hand.
Okay.
So the fifth. The extra guy, the other guy, just blew out. Said, "Well, I'm not playing with
Yeah.
cheaters."
Oh yeah,
and left.
I get
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So that's the short of it. I mean, the whole thing probably only lasted what 10, 15 minutes. It didn't last long.
Yeah, right.
Right. Well, yeah. 3 hands in, someone's obviously cheating. Yeah.
So Slim like shrugs and he's like, "Why is everyone giving me a hard time about this? I'm just trying to have some fun."
You are an amoral miscreant, Slim.
He
That
looks
is why
at,
we love
I've
you.
got Slim.
yeah.
Slim, I've got no problem with it. Henry stands up, puts his hand on his shoulder, leans down, and says, "I just wish you were a little better at it."
Now that hurts, Baker.
And moves on. Don't worry, practice makes perfect.
Don't listen to him, Valentine.
Don't listen to him. You're the one calling me a miscreant.
Oh, you know I'm not serious, young man. There's
Well,
there's
First, Slim would
greatness.
have to know what that word means.
There's greatness in you, Slim. If you
He
would
smiles
stop
wide.
sliding into the dark side all the time.
That's nice.
Well, Judge says I get a clean record when I come back from my first term in the army.
You better not look too closely.
You didn't say about any miscreant behavior while I'm out here.
Incorrigible. Incorrigible.
I love it. All right, Slim's gonna just refresh his drink and probably follow around the other guys while this banter continues,
All right.
which I love, by the way.
Nah,
Me
it's
too.
it's
Well, the
great.
game started at 8. It's not even 8:30 yet.
That's right. Um, yeah. I think we can. Unless you guys have anything specific you want to do, we can kind of montage the night at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
let's do it.
All right. Well, and I'm looking at the time, 12:30 my time.
Yeah.
I don't know how deep I want to get into the next day. I'll be
Well,
honest
then
with you.
let's stop.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a good stopping point. That way we don't get into the next day too deep or get to a spot where it's not really convenient to stop. This was great. I really enjoyed this, guys.
I
Yeah,
did
love
too.
I love the role playing. You guys are doing great.
That was fun.
I do love it. This is a really cool like set piece for a game, and it really kind of lets us be flavorful and you know everyone lean into their different quirks.
I really love
Yeah.
the sound too.
Yeah,
And the map. Good job finding this.
Yeah,
HMS Cleveland steamer.
yeah, I used Incarnate. I went into their so I have an annual membership with Incarnate. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that website or not. I'll pop it down in the
Never
chat
heard of
real
it.
quick.
No, what is it?
It is a map maker software specifically meant for RPGs. But I used it to make some of the maps for my fantasy books. And the thing is, I can't use them in my fantasy books unless I have an active membership. So I bought a year-long membership, which isn't much. It's like $12 a year or something. Except the annoying fact that I have to buy it every year for, I guess, the rest of my life, as long as my books are in print. Um, but but anyway, I went to Incarnate and looked at what kind of sailing vessels they had, and this was the closest thing. The ship itself is just the brown template for what they called the pirate ship. So obviously there's some details, like for instance, it's just a stamp of the three different decks. So obviously there's like you see an anchor at the bow of every of every deck.
Oh, sure.
But so I just kind of made do with what I had. If I had more time, I'd have probably stuck like lounge chairs and potted plants on the promenade and stuff like that. But I had to throw this together at the last minute.
Some of these maps are really great.
Oh, there's some really cool stuff in there. And making your own maps, you've got access to some basic stuff. Of course, you don't get access to all their resources unless you pay for it. But it's for people like me who are map making challenged. It's a really good, a really cool program. Because I'm crap at maps. I hate designing maps. But at least with this, I can play with it. I can start to put something together, and if I don't like the way it's going, okay, well I can delete that and I can start over. You know what I mean? So no, it's a cool website.
Very cool.
But all right, well, cool. I'm gonna get about my day here. Guys, thanks so much for playing.
You.
Thank you.
And
It was really fun.
That was really fun. We doing next week, or what's the?
well, my wife just texted me something about that. Um, I have I have a I have a physical at noon my time Thursday next week.
Mm.
That I
Okay.
completely forgot about. Um, of course. Uh, so I could play for a very short time. I mean, the doctor's office is 5 minutes away. It's not that big a deal. But I could probably play for like an hour and a half or something. That'd be about it. If you guys are into that, then that's fine. We can do that. See if we can get through the second day of our little steamer voyage.
I'm game.
Just try
Yeah,
to make some
absolutely.
progress.
I'm game too.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Then I'll see you next week.
All right, cool.
All right. See you then.